All right, this is episode 2 of the Catalyst Corner. I am Matt Latino from G-Sport by GESi. We talk all things catalytic converter, some tech talk, a little bit of frequently asked questions, our upcoming GESi race schedule. So to get right into it, we're going to start with our frequently asked questions. So what I'm going to do here is I've got a spreadsheet of every single frequently asked question that has, every single inquiry that has come into our website. First one here, we've got someone with a 2021 Subaru STI. So looking to buy one of your Gen 2 cats, not super high horsepower, just want it to be EPA compliant. Dealing with check engine lights, no surprise. I have a aftermarket downpipe with 3-inch piping. Do you have something available for this? Okay, so this is a super common question, and this could actually go for pretty much any single make and model. If you have an aftermarket downpipe with no cat, you can absolutely section in one of our catalytic converters. Obviously, if you have a nice, clean, straight section. So Subaru, really common question. There's a ton of people making aftermarket downpipes for Subarus with no cats. I always say if you look at a Subaru wrong, the check engine light will come on. So for that reason, here's what I'm going to recommend. So it is a 2021, so we're going to have to go with the Gen 2. Any vehicle 2017 or newer needs to be a Gen 2. Now, even though this is not going to be a super high horsepower application, I'm still going to recommend going with our ultra high output 4.5-inch body catalyst. Reason for this is the factory catalysts are pretty heavy loaded. They have a pretty tight tolerance on the O2 sensor calibration on what will pass and what will not. So you will not exceed the power rating of one of our 4-inch cats, but the 4.5-inch body cat gives a larger surface area, more conversion for emissions, and just an all-around better fit. And also, people like to modify their Subarus. Who knows down the road whether you're going to do a rotated turbo setup or a nice big turbo on that thing and pick up some higher power, and you can future-proof this thing. So that would be my recommendation for any Subaru STI newer than 2017 would be to use our ultra high output Gen 2 cat. Part number, if you were to use a 3-inch catalytic converter inlet outlet, would be 85230. For a 4-inch, 85240. Or if you just want to buy the body of the cat and do the inlet outlet yourself, that'd be 85200. All right, let's move on. 2017 Ford F-150 with a Whipple supercharger. Get this a lot. So this is going to cover any modern 5-liter Whipple supercharged application. So it'll be Mustang, F-150, or what have you. So here is what I would recommend. So he asked the question. He said he currently has a set of our G-Sport 3-inch 300 cell 50032s. So that would be our Gen 1 4-inch body cats. And he is planning on doing the Whipple supercharger. He wants to know if these cats will hold up. So here's what I'll recommend. It is a 2017, so technically it should have our Gen 2 on there. He's currently using our Gen 1. So, I guess it's working out for him. We do run into a lot of applications where the Gen 1 will work on newer vehicles. We just always recommend to use the Gen 2 if it's a 2017 or newer. But now, here's what I'm going to say. If you are supercharging your vehicle or doing twin turbos, you are going to be adding a considerable amount more load and heat through the exhaust, which means those cats are going to get loaded up a lot quicker. So I always recommend going up a size to a 4.5-inch ultra high output body cat for forced induction vehicles. Now, specifically these trucks. Now, even with a Whipple supercharger, say you're making 750 horsepower, let's just say, out of this truck. Technically, the 4-inch body would handle the power because we rate them between 350 and 500 horsepower. That's per bank. So a 750 horsepower, yeah, we are just kind of within spec on the low end, but let's consider a few variables here. We've got a pickup truck. Pickup truck's a lot heavier than, like this F-150 is going to be a lot heavier than a smaller passenger vehicle. So that alone is going to be putting more load through the exhaust. Second, I don't know if we're going off-roading in this thing, if we're going to be towing anything. We put a trailer on this truck. Again, we've now got more load going through the exhaust. So for that reason, 750 horsepower out of a heavier vehicle like this truck is going to be a lot more load going through the exhaust than say 750 horsepower out of a smaller passenger vehicle. So going with that larger 4.5-inch ultra high output body cat would absolutely be the recommendation here. So I would advise this customer. I know you already have our GESi cats in this, but if you're going to be going through the effort of putting a Whipple supercharger on this thing, spend a bit of extra money, future-proof it, put a set of our ultra-high outputs. That would be the Gen 2. Again, same as the Subaru application, 85-230, 85-240 if we're going with a 4-inch exhaust, which is pretty uncommon, or the 85-200s, which is the core only, and you can integrate them however you choose. I would say I would give the same advice for most V8 supercharged applications that are going to be tuned. I like to have a bit of a safety cushion in here because anyone with a laptop is considered a tuner nowadays, and we don't know whether the tune's going to be super efficient. So if you've got something with a little running on the little to the rich side, I'd rather play it safe, have that larger surface area to disperse heat. So those are going to be my recommendations for, say, Gen 3 Hemis, supercharged Gen 3 Hemis, any sort of aftermarket supercharged Ford 5-liter application, even like the LSA supercharged LS motors. I would always err on the side of caution, step it up, go with the 4.5-inch body. That's what I'll do for customer inquiries. We'll go through just the two of those for today. I do have a handful of inquiries this week asking where can we buy your product. Pretty straightforward. End user, if you want to buy directly from us, just go to our website, gsportbygesi.com. All of our products are available on the products page. Add them to your cart, check out, and it'll ship within 3 to 5 days. If you are in US, you want something a little bit quicker, maybe save a bit of money on shipping, you can go through one of our trusted wholesalers. We have Ace Race Parts, Tycon Industries / Stainless Bros. We have Verocious. In Quebec, we have RP Distribution. And if you're in Europe, we've got Evoke Performance. They're all great partners. Typically, they have every one of our products on the shelf at any given time. So you can trust those partners. If you are a shop or a jobber or someone looking to carry inventory, go to our website, gsportbygesi.com. Send us an inquiry through the Contact Us page. I will personally get in touch with you, and we'll talk about getting an account set up for you. So that's going to do it for frequently asked questions and customer inquiries. For this week's Tech Talk, I want to talk a little bit about flow numbers. So, one thing that we get a lot of is your cats are 400 cell. You know, we got all these 200 cell catalytic converters on the market. I don't want to go with a 400 cell cat because it's going to restrict power. I don't want to say debunk this, but I want to give you the workaround, give you the actual flow data, because anyone that thinks I have to go with a 200 cell cat or no cat, otherwise it's going to rob power, I want you to know that there are very reasonable alternatives here. The industry standard when it comes to like cheap, and I hate even comparing our brand to this because this is not what we are, but when we get compared to these cheap aftermarket Chinese 200 cell catalytic converters, I want to give you the stats on how our product compares versus theirs. Now, first off, you'll almost never find an EPA compliant 200 cell catalytic converter. You just can't get enough oxygen storage in a 200 cell cat to keep check engine lights off or to reach the adequate emissions reduction required for EPA compliance. You may be able to keep a check engine light off, but you won't get enough precious metal on there to pass EPA. So that's that. So let's get into some of these flow numbers. So we went and we did a flow test on a 200 cell 4-inch, kind of the leading cheap aftermarket Chinese cat that we could find on the market. We flowed every single one of these cats, by the way, were flown at the exact same 28 inch-pounds on our Superflow 1020, which is the industry standard flow bench for flowing catalytic converters. The 200 cell 4-inch industry standard cheaper cat on the market flowed 862 inch-pounds. So what would a 400 cell 4-inch global emissions catalytic converter flow? 724. So we've got a difference of around 140 CFM, which is something to consider. So let's look at some alternatives. What happens if we step up to a 4.5-inch body cat? So if we go from a 200 cell 4-inch cat to a 400 cell 4.5-inch cat, we're only going up half an inch in size in diameter, which is only a 1/4 inch in radius all around. Chances are, if you can fit a 4-inch body cat, you can almost definitely fit a 4.5-inch body cat. I've seen very few applications where you can't fit a 4.5-inch body cat. So again, 200 cell 4-inch cat flowed 862. 400 cell 4.5-inch GESi cat flowed 887. So that's 25 CFM higher than the 200 cell 4-inch cat. So very, very simple. If you truly believe that you're being restricted by a 400 cell cat, all you got to do is just go up half an inch in size, and you make up all the difference and more. Now we do have our Gen 1 lineup, which is a 300 cell. So a 300 cell 4-inch cat flows at 802 CFM, as opposed to the 200 cell 862. Now if we go to the 300 cell Gen 1 4.5-inch cat, we have 964 CFM at 28 inch-pounds. So we are over 100 CFM higher on the 300 cell 4.5-inch Gen 1 ultra high output cat. So again, just go up a size, or you could go with our Gen 1 depending on what year you have. If you have a vehicle that's older than 2017, our Gen 1 300 cell ultra high output is an excellent option, which absolutely will not restrict flow. It flows higher than the 4-inch 200 cell cats. And yeah, so the argument, I like to just straight up call it invalid, because I mean, we've ran our catalytic converters on our 1500 horsepower NHRA Pro Stock engines, and when sized correctly, you lose no power whatsoever. I have yet to see an application when you size a cat correctly where you lose anything more than a couple horsepower. So anyone out there with your standard street vehicles saying, I'm not going to run a cat or a 400 cell cat because it's going to rob power, I'm sorry, but you're wrong.
Boom. Roasted.
Any more questions on this, just comment them below, send an inquiry through gsportbygesi.com, and I'd love to talk to you more about this. So that's going to wrap up Tech Talk, and I want to get into our race schedule. So last episode, we were going into our season opener race in Gainesville, Florida. Then we competed in our Arizona Nationals in Phoenix, Arizona. And then late April, so April 24th to 26th, this one might be a little bit more relatable. We're going to be racing in Charlotte, North Carolina at ZMAX Dragway. We would absolutely love to have you. If you are a dealer of ours, come hang out with us. We've got a hospitality pit where you can come join us, hang out, get some food, some drinks, and see what it's all about. Again, just comment below or send us a message through gsportbygesi.com. Let us know if you'd like to attend this race, and we will happily take care of you. And I think that's going to do it. We'll wrap up this. I don't want these series to get too long. I want to keep it quick, to the point, entertaining. Hopefully you pick up some valuable information here. And again, if there's anything you guys want me to talk about, any technical information, anything you want to see, know, hear, if you want me to introduce any of our engineers or PhDs on the coding side of things, or get a little more technical on anything, send us a comment, put a comment in the video below. Let me know what you want to talk about, what you want to learn, and I will happily touch on that in future episodes. Everyone, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.